we're back in the Night in the Woods. Alright, we didn't lose that much progress, I don't think, from yesterday. I had to leave. Well, I didn't have to leave, but I left in quite a hurry. Alright, jeez, that looks safe. Are you gonna be all boring now, just because you died for like a whole 5 seconds? Dude, wait, we did read all of this though, we don't need to read that again. I think I left just at... I think I said the thing about the fish, so let's keep with that. We're gonna put the beasts together. Katrine93 shows up. Woo! Night in the Woods time. Nice! Nice to see you again, Katrine93. How are you doing today? Yeah, it is Night in the Woods time. I'm just skipping this because we read it yesterday. Alright, here we go. Here are all the parts. Wow, so many possible combinations. We can create our own unique metal offspring. So we just clank these together? Yeah, slap them together, tighten some screws. What could go wrong? I mean, quite a lot. Lots of times stuff goes wrong. Yep. Dude, you're no fun. Have you heard about Murphy's Law? That is when stuff goes wrong, eh? I literally just died. So, what? I'm confused. What is going on here? Wait, are we doing an automaton? Should we try to do it properly and just put some legs? Something like this? I guess. Is that it? Are we happy? Green says, hey, I'm a bit sleepy because it's 2:40 a.m. here. However, my axolotl children survived being eggs. What's axolotl? I've not heard about that. And I can imagine you being sleepy. People get tired sometimes. Survive being eggs? It sounds... Is that a game? Or... Axolotl. Sometimes it feels good being tired, I think. I think I'm happy with this. He looks good. Could we put this on his head, perhaps? No. Yeah, I'm happy. Go the obvious route. Oh man, Katrine says axolotl is a new type of newt. They are super cool. I actually don't even know what newt is. That's... Oh man. Is it like a toad? Or something like that? I need to see. It's a fish. Oh! Cool. Cool. Cool indeed. Nice. Adventure 95 says cider, please. 2021? Wait, what do you mean? That I don't know what an axolotl is? Newt, slimy lizard, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you don't know that I know, and vice versa. That's why it's interesting talking to people, right? You can learn all sorts of stuff. They're really cool looking though. How big is that? It's like a fish lizard, kinda. Like, how big do they become? Like something like this? Bigger, smaller? Katrine93 says, I don't know how to explain what a newt is. It's like, the only time I've heard about newts are in like witches and like, I've read Harry Potter, right? It's a lizard. Like I've heard it as Eye of Newt. That's the only thing I've heard about. Also, English is not my main language. This is just lizard to me. Well, probably in Swedish as well. I don't like knowing about different species. Not my strong suit. Green asks, how do you not know what a newt is? Huh. Isn't it just a lizard? Small lizard? But yeah, Eye of Newt is the only context I've heard it in before. And that has been, it's all been wizardry. Like, for some reason on TV, people use Eye of Newt for whatever. Katrine93 says, yeah, I currently own around 80, mostly by accident. Ooh, sounds like fun. How did that accident happen? And I'm assuming you're having a good time. Adventure95 says, isn't a cat just a mammal? Yeah, aren't humans just mammals? Yes, Adventure95, we sure are. We sure are. Blasphemous says, this game isn't over? No, May survived, Blasphemous. May is alive and kicking. Hey, beautiful. And after they survived, they build this monstrosity. He's perfect. Our beautiful boy. Our robot son. So like, this is pretty great and all, but remind me, why did we just put a bunch of garbage together in your living room? Good questions. Kitter93 says, I bought 2 and I thought they were both males. I was wrong. Life will find a way. Oh, so that was the accident. Do you have room to take care of them so they... Maybe you sell them? Eat them? Do people eat them? I don't know. And connected to a stolen car battery. That's already leaking acid on the carpet, I think. I don't know. Since you've been back in town, I think I missed Greg of a few years ago. Yeah, they are regressing. Yeah, that's regression. Like, these days, I mostly work all the time, but... Why are you working so much? We got plans. What plans? Bright Harbor? Bright Harbor? Since when? Blasphemous says maybe very hungry people? Wait. Missed the context on that. Very hungry. The axolotls are just biologically cool and look silly. Yeah, they look amazing. Katrine says, don't eat me, axolotl. Oh man. All of them? That would be sad. Eaten by a small... Wait. They live in the water, right? So you would have to get into the water if they are gonna eat you? Or are they amphibious? They look kinda amphibious, I suppose. Katrine also says, yeah, axolotls are rad as hell. Yeah, they look amazing. Alright. Since when? A year or so now? That's why we're working like 7 days a week. But when are you moving? I think in the spring. That's like a few months away. Yeah. Oh, okay. Ooh, nice. Ooh, that's a gut punch for May. Right? She couldn't manage college, something, it went all awry. She probably missed her good old days. She had a proper regression. Then she goes back, trying to hang out with her old friends that she hasn't met in a while. And they have other plans. She moves here, and they save up the money, and then they leave. Ooh. That's adulthood for you. You should come visit when we get settled in. Why Bright Harbor? Or isn't Bright Harbor like really expensive? Why Bright Harbor? There we go. Oh May, it's so cool. We visited in the summer. There's like record stores and weird bars, and everyone's cool, like free. Oh, that's where I got my tattoo. What? Yeah. Tattoo. Is that a sheep? Yep. Why a sheep? The tattoo guy was like all the way hot. And it didn't even hurt. You have a tattoo. You're moving to Bright Harbor. Yeah. Oh, okay. Alright, anyway. Yeah, like I was saying, now that you're back in Possum Springs, I was like, hey, let's do some crimes again. Aw, dude. Yep. So I was thinking about how to use that for like good. So I thought I'd bring this here for Angus. That's beautiful, dude. I'm sure he'll love it. I hope so. Okay, so yeah. All we need to do now is turn it on. Ooh. I want to push the button. Let me push the button. Let me do it. Dude, it's the least I could do for my best friend back from the dead. Pizza party next time I die and come back. Dude, that is such a deal. Blasphemous says, say, okay, so Fascist Hatman is gay. Or is that a girl too? I mean, the name is Greg. I think they're gay. They haven't said it straight out, but he's talking about a hot dude, hot guy giving him the tattoo, and he's living together with another guy. Like they're in their 20s, right? And he's making this thing for his boyfriend, I suppose. So I think he's gay. But I don't know yet. It has been vague. Yeah. And that makes sense, right? If you know each other from back way, like they would already know that, and they wouldn't really be talking about it, I suppose. Sweet. Oh god. This side smells even worse. I hope whatever was living here in this hole. Okay, I think I see it. Push it, push it, push it, push it. Hey, I'm glad you and Angus have this whole, like, life together. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, dude. We've worked hard. That's sweet. Push it, push it, push it. Okay. Gotta push it. And we get electrocuted again. Another electrocution. Something like that. Yeah. Whoa. It lives. What the? Woo. Something like that. Blasphemous says maybe May is dead this time. Yeah. I mean, she looks kinda dead. Well, she looks kinda dying. Hey Angus. How's it going, May? Good, I didn't die this time. Oh. She's alive, she's just in pain. You? Good. I'm just gonna lie here for a while, if that's okay. Okay. Nice. Oh. We didn't get to see his reaction. Freaking died tonight. Greg rules, okay? Are we gonna tell Dad we died this tonight? Like, I wonder if Angus got happy. Maybe not. How's work? You know, better than the glass factory. Is it? Of mind, I've ran machines, but now I get to slice steaks. Oh. Blasphemous says cat has 9 lives, supposedly. Is that why they're cats? I mean, she didn't really die. She said she died, but she passed out and had like a hallucination for 5 seconds and then woke up. And then she said she died, but I don't know. Also, a car battery? Could you get like an electrocution from a car battery? Is that dangerous? Probably, I suppose. But now I get to slice steaks and hock salamis. I mean, it's easier on the back, that's for sure. But like, do you like it? I like having a paycheck. Fair? Paychecks, the sweetest meats of all. Oof. What did you do tonight? Oh, you know, stuff. Tired. Feel like I just did a day's work. You know, there are places you can get paid for work these days. Oh, really? Yeah, they call it working. Huh. You kids with your slang. Slang you could pick up at work. Okay, yes, point made. What about those boxes I asked about in the crawl space? I'm thinking about it. Watch some TV with me? Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, for a little bit. Perfect timing. Garbo and Malloy is starting. Oh, yes. Garbo and Malloy. Oh, yes. You know, we like to get political here. Gotta do it. Gotta. You hear about this new law on the books? Pirating a movie online, you know about that? I do. Punishable by up to 10 years in prison? What? Are they kidding? Wow, and here I've been trying to get in the hard way. He has, folks? Wait. I wonder if pirating a movie about first-degree murder earns you more prison respect than what about grand larceny? Hey, Malloy, you know what I think about that law? What, Garbo? That's Whoopa. And they're laughing. Coming up next, stupid sandwiches. I don't get it. Is that the joke, that they are always terrible and there's never any fun to be had when watching Garbo and Malloy? Because that, I didn't get it. Maybe it was funny, but I didn't get it. He said he's thought about it. Yeah, Dad put him here. I bet Dad should move him. Why can't I move them? Alright, messages. Is it the same here? Yeah. Jobs cannot be soul-crushing because there is no proof that souls exist. I love that. Blasphemous asks, is May a NEET? Yes. Yes. Not in employment or education. I don't remember what the T stands for in NEET. She just left college, right? She just skipped out. It sucked. And training. There we go. Thanks, Blasphemous. Yeah, she got back from college because something happened. We don't know what yet. That's like the mystery, it feels like. It's weird. She's been back for a couple of days and not talked to anyone about it. Katrine93 says, Garbo and Malloy is so bad. No. No one gets Garbo and Malloy. Alright, it's just bad. That's the joke then, I suppose. Hey May, you awake? We're talking to Bay now. Bay. May, me, huh? Bay, probably. You awake? Sure am. What's up? Nothing. Watching TV. What are you watching? It's a true crime show. Is it any good? No, the reenactments are terrible. But if they were good, I'd actually feel bad for them. As it stands, it's just like bad local commercial actors pretending to murder or be murdered. I love those shows. They're the best. All right. Oh, Blasphemous says Garbo as in garbage, and Katrine says yes, exactly. Yeah. What's the Malloy then? I don't know. Hey, punk. Are you still electric? No, I think that's gone now. Hold on, let me touch something metal. Okay, I touched my futon frame and we're good. Good work, Dr. Science. Does Angus like the robot? I think so. He's just kind of looking at it. Hold on, I'll ask him. Okay, he says to say thank you. So I think that means he likes it. Alright, duder, I'm turning in. Me too. See you later. Let's see. Colgate in on tab says, I don't like it. If A doesn't know about proof of existence of B, it doesn't mean that B can't be crushed. Right. If A, that's me, doesn't know about the proof of existence of B, that's the soul, I guess. It does not mean that B can't be crushed. Well, that's the same issue we were talking about yesterday, I think. Right. Let's see if A doesn't know about the proof of existence of B. Is there a proof of existence of B, though? I think that is the point, Colgating on Tap, that there is no proof of existence. If there were a proof of existence, we would all know about it. So A would know about, well, I'm assuming. That's a safe assumption to make, maybe. Or am I making an ass out of you and me now? Jobs cannot be soul-crushing because there is no proof that souls exist. Also, that's just arguing semantics, right? Soul-crushing is not a statement about the soul being crushed. It's a statement of how some jobs just drain you emotionally, psychologically, if that makes sense. So, like, the metaphor checks out either way, right? Calling a job soul-crushing can be said with whether there is a soul or no. For communications? Blasphemous says, sounds like something Cider would say. Wait. This? Sounds like something that I would say? Yeah, this sounds like something I would say. Yeah, indeed. Arguing semantics. I like arguing semantics. But I also have to concede, right? The pragmatic point. I have to concede that calling a job soul-crushing, I would understand what you meant. Even though I would argue maybe using a different type of language to say what you just said. Hey May, are you alright? That's Angus, right? Yeah, that's gotta be Angus. I was afraid you were really hurt, and you left so quickly. I'm good, big guy. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Oh, appreciate it. Try not to almost die anymore tonight. No promises. Alright. Who is this? Is this someone we haven't met yet? Someone who's skate and destroy or skate for to create? Is that the old boyfriend? Maybe? Charcoal? Charcoal. Do I want to practice this? Man. I feel like I'm terrible either way. Like, any way I've tried it, I've been terrible. Nah, screw that. Let's be a bad bassist. It's fine. Bedtime. No or yes? Yes. Colgate In on Tap says there is proof of existence of an arbitrarily large deficient numbers. Wait. Does it mean you are aware about it? Wait. There is proof of existence of arbitrarily large deficient numbers. Does it mean you're aware about it? No, the argument was that some news are bigger than other news. Like if the new, what's it called? Curiosity? The new Mars thing. If that one actually finds proof, like it finds evidence of life on Mars, that's gonna be big news. Arbitrarily large deficient numbers, I don't even know what that is. But if someone proved that the soul is a real tangible thing, that news would spread like wildfire. That was my argument. But again, you could find an A that would not know about it. Like you can find someone not knowing about newts or axolotls. You can't find people like that doesn't know about stuff. So it's not really a valid argument that I made. It was just... Oh. 393 says, skate to create is Casey, the missing kid. Oh. I wonder why that hasn't been a bigger deal. No spoilers, but I kinda feel like the arm was Casey's, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, of course not. It doesn't mean I'm aware of anything just because there is proof about anything. But specifically, if someone came up with some good idea, like it's the same if someone proved or showed sufficient evidence that God existed, that would be big news. Blasphemous says, how would you describe consciousness? Oh man, that's such a difficult question. Consciousness, there's so many different words that looks at so many different aspects of the mind or consciousness. Like we talk about, one could make like a simple definition, right? If you get hit hard enough on your head, you become unconscious. So one could say that consciousness is just the awareness of like almost equivalent to being awake. Some could say consciousness is, right? But I would probably say the observer, right? Like more of the like when you manage to meditate or whatever, when you take all the thoughts away, like there's a lot of thoughts happening in the mind. I would say that consciousness is that feeling we have, the observer, the one looking out, not the one doing the thinking. Like consciousness can become aware of the thoughts, but the thoughts are not created by consciousness. The thoughts are created by the mind. Like to quote Bill Hicks, exploring the inner and the outer world, both being, well, paraphrasing. Like you can explore inwards and the feeling is infinite. Like indivisible maybe is a better word, right? Like your perception comes from somewhere, the observer comes from somewhere. Is that the consciousness? I would probably, that's not how I would do it. How I would do it would be this. I would probably go here. Consciousness. Did I spell that correctly? I did. And I would go here to my favorite webpage. Consciousness at its simplest is sentience. Oh, sentience, that's a good point. Or awareness of internal and external existence. Yeah, I like that definition. I can get behind that. I think that was what I was grasping at. What is sentience, though? It's the capability to be aware of feelings and sensations. Yeah, it's all about awareness, right? Yeah. I've just been unconscious a couple of times in my life, but that's like, All right. Colgate in on tab says, well, existence of odd perfect numbers is also a pretty big thing if somebody discovered proof for it. I would hear about it. However, just because nobody has discovered it yet doesn't mean that there doesn't exist one. Yeah, right? Just because nobody has discovered any evidence for a soul does not mean that there does not exist a soul. Yeah, I'm behind you on that. However, I'm a pragmatist, right? I live my life in that way. If nobody has any evidence for a soul, then why would I assume that there is a soul? I would live my life like there is no soul, just like I live my life like there is no God or no Santa Claus, right? Nobody has discovered any evidence for it yet. Therefore, I live my life like they are not part of... I mean, I know they're real. Like, all of them are real. They exist. They just don't exist independently of humans. They are ideas created by humans. So they do exist. So it's unfair to me. Like, the soul as well exists. Right? If it didn't exist, we wouldn't be able to talk about it. Right? Something that does not exist could not be talked about, and if we start talking about it, then we do create it by talking about it, because it exists in our mind. Blasphemous says, would you say there are different levels of consciousness? Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, if it's equivalent to we're talking about awareness, then probably yes. I heard this a long time ago. I heard an interesting perspective on life where someone said that it's probably from this idea of the rule of the observer within quantum mechanics, but the idea of the primacy of consciousness, meaning that consciousness is part of everything. That I think the claim was even that just any matter would be conscious, because they were saying that all matter is just energy. It's like matter itself is not a real thing. If you look within an atom, it's 99.999% nothingness. It's just empty space. And somehow, I don't remember, it was a long time ago, it was a bit woo-woo, weird. It was a perspective, right? It wasn't scientific, it wasn't really philosophical, it was a perspective of life. New agey stuff. There we go, new agey stuff. But it was an interesting, like, flipped perspective, looking at consciousness as being part of, like, everything being conscious. Like, I've heard that quote as well, like, we are just part of the universe experiencing itself. I've heard that quote. I found that interesting as well, talking about consciousness. So maybe, I mean, everything that I can be aware of is part of my consciousness, right? If it's my awareness. Then someone who is blind is less aware of colors than me. That would have to make sense, right? So awareness is dependent on perception, probably. Blasphemous said, if you go back to school one day, can you do my math for me? If I go back to school one day, can you do my math for me? Oh, well, if I went back and tried to learn math, I would want to learn math. Roostercock says, but there is evidence for a god and for a soul. I mean, you got a point, Roostercock. I should have said sufficient evidence for a god and a soul. And we talked about that the other day as well, right? Within science, there are value judgments. That's the pragmatist approach. Like, there's not like scientific. It's not sufficient to convince me these evidences for gods and souls, Roostercock. It's not enough for me. So I shouldn't say that there is no evidence. And also, again, God obviously is more powerful than me because he has way more houses than I do. Right? God owns more houses than I own. Right? More people know of God than know of me. So, I mean, sure, it depends on how you look at it. But again, I'm saying that God is created by by humans, just like souls are an idea that is created by humans. Katrine93 says, come for the forgotten games, stay for the existential deep talk. I love this stuff. And Roostercock says that evidence is not equal to proof. Yeah, I'm trying to differentiate between the two as well, right? Evidence is... like you can have... Oh, actually, people talk about anecdotal evidence, right? Oh man, I missed. Blasphemous asked, why don't you just buy a house, Cider? Exactly. Why not just buy a house, right? Just do that. Just buy all the houses so you can have more houses than God. Yeah, evidence and proof, two very different things. Proofs becomes true and false statements, right? We've been talking about the difference between induction and deduction. And I would say that deductions can be proofs, right? Blasphemous says, I wonder if Kitrin worked on this game or just really likes it. I mean, people have favorite games. No slashing. That's fine. I sometimes go to my favorite games just to watch them on Twitch. Sometimes I go by games. Sometimes I go by people I like to watch. Often it's like I feel like watching a specific game. Colgate Inotap said, I wouldn't say that odd perfect numbers don't exist. Well, maybe today as it's April's Fool's Day. Ooh. Oh, gross. I haven't been fooled once, or have I? Oops. But otherwise I wouldn't say that odd perfect numbers don't exist. I mean, I would. Well, it depends on the context again. I have to concede, right? Same thing, I have to concede that God has more buildings than me, right? I have to concede that. But I could say that he is less real than me because I'm flesh and blood. I exist in the material world. Like, you have to make assumptions, Colgate Inotap, in this world. You have to. Otherwise you just have to... Ooh. Like, skepticism tells us that, well, we can't really know anything. So we have to make assumptions. Otherwise, like, if you don't know anything, then you can't act on anything, right? So for knowledge to be had, you have to make assumptions. So if you want to have knowledge, that is. If you want to act upon anything, then you would have to make assumptions in this world. Yeah. Katrine says, shh. Blasphemous zips. Shh. Good. All right. Maybe, like, I don't recall. She? Katrine93? Maybe she did work on it. If it's she. I don't know why. Katrine looks like a female name. I don't want to assume. Well, oftentimes I do. I don't know. Let's see, why don't you just buy a house? Oh, we're caught up to that. Colgate Inotap says, at most I would say I conjecture that odd perfect numbers don't exist. But there might be odd perfect numbers, or even a countable infinite amount of them. Yeah. Right? You would say that in a formalized context, I suppose. But like, just in general, you could just say odd perfect numbers don't exist. I would say that just for ease of communication. Is that ease of communication? Man, actually, that is a good argument. I do like semantics. So maybe I should follow Colgate InnoTap's example. And say stuff like, I don't feel like I have sufficient evidence to claim any objective existence of any god. Would that make more sense? Oh. Blasphemous, you can become better at making assumptions. Yeah. The absolute best way is to avoid it as much as possible. That's how you get good at making assumptions. By avoiding making them. Oh, I hope I didn't miss something over there. I think I missed something over there. Let's go. Let's check that out. Kitrin93 says it's only 3 hours into April Fool's Day and I've already been bamboozled twice. Oh, I'm far into it. I might have been bamboozled, but I was not aware of it. Colgate InnoTap says, how does your assumption that a soul doesn't affect your actions? Well, if someone says this is good for your soul, I know that they are making... I mean, it becomes easier to know that the person that says that something... Is this Casey? This is probably Casey, isn't it? No, wait, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Like, I don't know. Does my thinking that a soul does not exist affect my action? Does it really? I mean, usually people believe the soul is immortal. Is that necessary of a soul to be immortal? So if you believe in immortality, then you might try to change your actions to whatever happens to when the body dies. Like, I don't try to do that. I try to YOLO. Yeah. Carpe diem. I don't try to change my behavior based on any magic idea that someone talks about. I try to gain knowledge about the world that is here and now, if that makes sense. Kitrin says, yeah, Kit is my nickname, so she/they pronouns. Nice. Look at that, a good... Well, was that a good assumption? It was an assumption, it was a guess, rather, maybe. Blasphemous. I hate semantics when I just want to discuss a topic. That checks out, Blasphemous. The problem with not using proper semantics is that you can say one thing, and the other person that you're discussing with could be interpreting it as something completely different. I mean, misunderstandings happen all the time. All the time they happen. And if you don't, like, that's the same. We were talking about legalese the other day. The language is like that for a reason. squirrel. What was it the last time? Damn it, I forget. Last nightmare was something else. This time it was a squirrel. Blasphemous says, yes, they do. Misunderstandings, I'm assuming. Blasphemous also says, even if you are very clear in the statement, someone will always have their own interpretation. Yeah. And that's the reason why we argue semantics, right? To try to negotiate the meaning and try to make sure that we are in agreement in what the words we use, that we make similar interpretations. Colgate InnoTab says, focusing on this world doesn't need any assumptions about existence of a soul. Focusing on this world does not need any assumption about existence of a soul. Oh, well, I like my understanding of the world. I like to increase my understanding of the world. Like, I like to build a model of how I believe this world works. Right? That's one of my hobbies. Is that a hobby? Could we call it a hobby? Probably. That's one of my hobbies, right? So, right, it doesn't need any assumptions about anything, right? You don't need to do any philosophical or world building. You can just act on instinct. And I would argue that, well, there's an ethical component to building up your understanding of how the world works. I would argue that, but there's still, like, again, there is no objective ethics, right? There's no objective morality, so there is no need to do it. I just like to do it, and I like to talk about it. Blasphemous says, as in this world and not in other worlds. Yeah, right? We can talk about the world that happens in this game. That's another world. We don't need to talk about the soul in that world either. We haven't really talked about if they have a soul or not in this world. Like, if a god exists within this game. Like, if there is a god judging them or not. Like, their world is not the same as our world. Colgate InnoTab says, it is a stretch, but it can be pushed into the category of hobbies. Why is it a stretch? Isn't it just a rare hobby that, I don't know. I like doing it. All right. Hey, I'm at work all day. Just saying, if you want to say hello, of course we want to say hello. I'm here to be helloed at. Becoming fast frenzy. Alright, what do this have to say today? Home Dome. Mortgage got you down. New app allows you to rent out your bathroom as a public toilet. Oh man. I'm pretty sure that the writers in this game have a similar political attitude as Colgate InnoTab. I get that feeling. I get that sense. I don't know why. Could you imagine that? Renting out your bathroom? Just random strangers? Oh man. That's so invasive. So invasive. I couldn't deal. I could not deal with that. Nope. Colgate says, I don't know either. I know less about semantics than you do. Wait. I often see, like, Semantics for me are like when we argue semantics. Like I like the negotiation of meaning, finding an agreement to what a term is. Like I would say semantics is parts of linguistics, right? Semantics is part of linguistics, and linguistics are not prescriptive. So even how much I would want to make semantics prescriptive and make everybody have the same definitions as I do, that's not the way of the world. That's why we argue semantics, I think. Northerner says, "Hi, I'm new." Wait, how does that work out? You were old yesterday. Do you feel refreshed, Nodrunner? Is that it? Nice to meet you, and nice to see you again. How are you doing today? I'm guessing you're feeling refreshed with the new keyboards and the new stuff and everything. So maybe you're feeling new. Adventure 95 says, it's kind of silly to assume that God would always judge, since they could basically do whatever they want and feel however they want, right? Any statement about God would become silly then, right, Adventure 95? And if it's silly to assume that God would judge, then it would be silly to assume that God would not judge. Any assumption about God, and since we have no evidence, since I don't have enough evidence, sufficient evidence to make any statement about any God, not in this story, not in our world, any assumption would be silly in that sense. Which, I mean, there you go. That's Occam's razor, isn't it? It's silly to make assumptions. That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Adventure 95 says, imagine a murder hobo god. Like, if there is a god, isn't he a murder hobo? Like, everyone who has ever lived has died. Except for us who's alive right now. But it is fairly... It's not super safe to assume, but it's probably fairly safe to assume that most of us alive today will die. Because if we look back, most people have died, most animals have died, most everything has died. So, if there is a god, like an intentional god, right? Not like someone just presses start and studies what happened, but like an all-powerful god that makes everything happen, then that god would be a murder hobo, no? If God killed everybody, then God is a murder hobo. Maybe. Blasphemous says, imagine Junkie if Junkies rented your bathroom and died in it. Oof. Blasphemous says, no, he was back yesterday. Oh, right, he was back yesterday. Damn it, I forget. Thanks, Blasphemous. Nodrunner says, I spent all day working on getting used to my keyboard just to make a new key layout. Therefore, I am new. Nice. Wait. You got used to the keyboard to make a new key layout. Wait, do you mean that you specifically moved the keys around? So you don't use the normal QWERTY. You use your own design? Is that it? That sounds interesting. Adventure 95 says, so basically, a God hypothesis is just as useful as the illusion hypothesis, aka not useful in any pragmatic sense. I would say that there is use. Like we've been talking about that before, like all the science and all the math work that does not lead anywhere. I would say it was still a useful hypothesis because we can say, well, this did not lead anywhere, so we have made that. Like it expands your knowledge, right? if you explore the God hypotheses and you try out, you check the and like there are evidence and there are logic. They've tried many different ways to give evidence to the God hypotheses, and I would say all of them increase the knowledge of what one can know. So I wouldn't say it's completely useless in a pragmatic sense. If you understand what I mean by that, Adventure 95. Nodonor says, I'm using a keyboard layout called Colmac, which I haven't used in years, but I somehow can still remember how to type on it with some effort. Nice. Colgate InnoTap quotes me, and he says, everyone who has ever lived have died except those who haven't. Yeah, exactly. That's, oh man. That's a very good definition. But, I mean, right, that doesn't really work out. But you know what I mean. Like, people who are alive today that has not yet died. If we go 100 years back, let's say 200 years back, and everybody who lived before that, all of them have died. On this planet. I cannot speak for other planets or other parts of the universe. But as far as I am aware. Kitrine 93 says, murder hobo god pog. Yeah, right. It's nice. But that would be the case, right? God would be a murder hobo. Colgate InnoTap says, calling QWERTY normal? I'm offended. Wait. Doesn't the word normal mean it is the norm, it is the most common? Isn't that what the word normal means? How would you get offended by that? I'm pretty sure, like, if we made a statistical analysis of what keyboards people use, I'm pretty sure, like, you're probably over 90%. Well, fuck no. The Chinese don't use QWERTY. So, no. Maybe it's not the norm. It's gotta be... Right? If the Chinese have one well, they speak 2 languages, right? So maybe not. And I'm assuming if you go to India, there's probably a lot of QWERTY going around. So maybe QWERTY is the norm. That's an assumption on my part. It's a guess. Let's call it a guess. Nodrunner says it's less QWERTY and more... Man, it doesn't have the same ring to it. No. It's better to call it... What did you call it? Colmac. It's similar to the one that Colgate InnoTap uses, I think. We've been talking about that before. Blasphemous says, hashtag people die every day. Yeah, people die every day. I'm pretty sure. Ooh. I wonder if there is a day in history where, like, recent history, modern history, where no person died. Nodonor says, throwing yourself at the ground and miss is basically what the astronauts at ISS are doing. Yeah, that is it, right? They're throwing themselves at the ground and missing. Well, they threw the thing at the ground and missed. And then they climbed into the thing. But it's pretty much the same. Basically the same, right? Yeah. Colgate InnoTap says, I really wish the mathematical community would share more of their work that didn't lead anywhere, so others working on the same proofs in the future could avoid those mistakes. Yeah, you're the mathematician, right? But I kind of think that by knowing the answer, you can imply what is mistaken, right? So that is why people don't do it, I suppose. And like we try to, like from a pragmatic sense, like what is useful, stuff that leads somewhere is more useful, right? You can use it and run with it. Stuff that does not lead anywhere, it's just useful for for that knowledge that it does not lead anywhere. That would be the only use. And if everybody shared everything like that, it would be more difficult to find the actual proofs, if that makes sense. Colgate in on tap? Maybe. But if you had a good enough search algorithm, that wouldn't matter. So I think that argument falls flat quite quickly. Colgate in on tap says Fruk does also have quite the same, doesn't also have quite the same ring. There we go. Fruk. It's better than oh man, difficult. Right, what does Greg has to say? Update. The robot smells a little weird. I'm surprised. Not sure what we missed there. Anyway. Hey boyo. At work all day. Very bored. Work sucks. Crap Falcon, more like it. Charcoal? Hey. No Donor says, remember that one time I said I had to go because my sleep schedule was returning to normal? It is basically all the way flipped around again. Wait, have you... Yeah, I remember that time. I thought that was happening over time and that we would see less and less of you. And then you started moving your sleep schedule, right? So your sleep time was moving further and further and further. And now you've gone the full 360, the full day around. Is that what you're saying? No, you're saying flipped. Did your environment, like your routine change? Kitrin asks, Blasphemous, if anyone ever calls you unfunny, they are wrong. I have laughed at 90% of your comments. Yeah, I mean, I think Blasphemous is funny, yeah. I think I'm having a good time. Like, I think out of all of us present, I think I'm probably the least funny one. Probably. Oh, you didn't say, I don't know what that symbol is called, Colgate in on tap. You said you didn't say the pointy bracket? I don't know what it's called. The arrow bracket? At the end of Fruk bracket and single quote as well. There's a single quote in the end as well. Thank you, says Blasphemous. Nice. No Donor says, now I go to bed when I used to wake up. Ah, there we go. So you've moved it 8-ish hours, 7-8-ish hours, something like that, I'm assuming. Yeah. I've done that like once, that I've moved my sleep schedule. I went to bed a little bit later and wake up later and later and later and later and moved a full 24 hours. When in university I did that one. It's called less than. Oh, right. It's called less than. Didn't know that. I just brain farted, I suppose. Charcoal, by the way. Nice. All right. We are good for another day. What time is it? Should I leave early today? That's rare. No. I'm just thinking... I don't want to get started at something. Oh, did he move the boxes? Dad? Blood and ashes. When are you gonna... Yeah, Dad put him here, I bet. Dad should move him. Dad? It's only fair. Come on, Dad. Oh, Rooster Cock says cider. I'm the least funny. Cider a few seconds later. Pointy bracket. Alright. But that's not intentionally funny. Man. That's you laughing at me, not with me. But I mean, I suppose that's funny as well. Alright, I wonder if you can learn to talk to birds. I was actually thinking, we were talking about that yesterday. About, like, spring is coming, right? Summer is coming. And me and my sister were out walking, and there was a lot of bird chirping around. And we were talking a lot about bird chirping, how that is like a soundtrack. It's a great fucking soundtrack. I love bird chirping. But like, you could probably learn how to talk to... Are they called doves? The... They just sound like that over and over and over and over and over. That's the only sound they make. So you could talk to them, right? Because that sound is super easy to make, and you can probably start to whistle many of the different sounds. But that's talk to, that's not communicate with. Maybe she meant communicate with. Well, that is communicating with as well, right? I know some... Was that in Life? The sequel to Planet Earth? I think they talked about what some of the bird chirps mean. And you can figure out what they mean, and you can communicate that meaning, I suppose. Colgate Tab says, I'd prefer failures. Well, failures is a bit harsh, isn't it? They didn't fail in their research, it just didn't lead anywhere. They didn't get a result. It's not a failure, it's just... But yeah, keeping it separate, says Colgate Tab. From successful research, yeah, then he puts the quotes in. And once that statement is proven or disproven, well... If you get evidence or you don't get any evidence, we could say as well, right, Colgate Tab. All previous attempts would be removed from the failure database. So that it would basically be a database of how not to solve open questions. Yeah, right, yes. I like that. How not to solve open questions. Yeah, that's the problem with the peer review prospect of magazines, right? They got limited space. So usually when you don't get anywhere, you don't get published. But yeah, publishing it in another database is a very good idea. He continues, and knowing some of the wrong ways to go about it, we don't know that they're wrong yet. Maybe they just didn't hack at it enough. You could still like improve upon what they tried to do. Even though it didn't lead anywhere, you could still make improvements to whatever methodology they made, I think. Oh, and that's what he says, right? To know some of the wrong ways to go about and help others find the correct way, if there is one. Yes, exactly. No Donner says, the boxes will never be moved. My dad is the same way. Oh, they will. We're gonna be all annoying about it. And he will move them one day in the future. Otherwise, like, I know games. I know games. That will happen. The boxes will be moved. I can tell. Adventure 95 says, doves and hooded crows are nice. Are nice. Crows, not cows. Crows. Alright. Just nice in general. I haven't met many of them, so I just feel that it's like, for me, the dove thing, that repeated sound over and over and over again, if I have to listen to it long enough, it becomes like a ticking clock. And I can't deal with that, ticking clocks. I have nothing against the bird species themselves, except for that point. If I have to listen to it over and over and over, I would want them to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, I would say, yeah. Node owner says, maybe they make inaudible oscillations. Not every call is the same. Wait, who? Doves? They're almost the same. But a lot of other birds, there's a lot more variation. There's a lot of repeated noises for sure, right? That's one, I know that's one of the chirping things. One of the purposes is they just do the same sound over and over and over again. It's like a reverse alarm. If that sound stops, then all the neighbors can assume, well, this fucker is dead. Time to get the fuck out of here. I think I've heard that. Don't quote me on it, but I think I've heard that that is one purpose of one typical kind of chirp. Roostercock says, I don't think there's much difference between intentional and unintentional humor. Ooh. Good point. Good point indeed, Roostercock. I would have to agree with that. I mean, there's some difference, but not significant. Colgate InnoTab says, links this Gödel's incompleteness theorems. How is this relevant? Gödel's incompleteness theorems are two theorems of mathematical logics that demonstrate the inherent limitations of every formal axiomatic system capable of modeling arithmetic. Oh, inherent limitations. So they are doing that. Incompleteness. The results published by Gödel in 31 are both important in mathematical logic and in the philosophy of mathematics. The theorems are widely but not universally interpreted as showing Hilbert's program to find a complete and consistent set of axioms for all mathematics is impossible. All right. And then he says, this is why in all systems there are some problems with no correct way. Nah, I did not quite understand this. I mean, you can show, right? You can probably prove stuff. Yeah, we've seen that in maths as well before, right? That you can prove stuff in different ways. Right? You can fiddle around and make it look... Yeah, I still don't understand. Node owner says, like human ears are not designed to be social with birds. Oh, I wasn't arguing socializing with birds. Like, we could probably talk to them. We could make some sort of communication towards them. Socializing, like having a conversation, I don't see that happening. I'm not even sure that is what most birds do. Like, if I just go outside and listen to the birds, I'm not even sure it's all socializing. Oh, but Node owner points out there's likely tiny details that we don't notice. Very likely, yeah. Node owner says, like the words cape and cake are similar words with entirely different meanings, right? And there's maybe even different wavelengths that is part of it that we can't even hear at all, right? There's probably sounds that we don't even hear at all that they hear. And like Swedes can't say joke, because we say joke instead of joke. Because we're not practiced in not hearing the G or making the G sound. And when you go interspecies languages, or communication methods, if they're called languages, I don't know. It becomes even more difficult. Like, if I'm like trying to communicate with animals, one thing I'm looking forward to is, and I'm wondering why I haven't heard more about this, is trying to make a machine that can translate between dolphin and human and trying to actually socialize and talk to a dolphin. That would be so fucking cool. That would be so fucking cool. And I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. Like, as far as I'm aware, dolphin language is... like, they are socializing in a similar way to what we do. They are talking back and forth, right? As far as I'm aware. Nodonor also says, to other animals, both human word noises would sound the same. Yeah. Yeah, they would indeed. They would indeed. Probably. Colgate in on tap says, every formal system with certain requirements have statements that can't be proven nor disproven within that system. Oh, right. Like what I was saying before. Everybody who's ever lived has died or has not died, right? That's... well, no, that's not it at all. That's just true by definition because it's a pointless statement. Like, logically speaking. Kitrin93 says, where I live we have hello crows that mimic human speech. I suppose it's kind of communication. I suppose so. I mean, it depends on the purpose, right? Like, you could argue that all bird chirping is communication, but maybe it's not communication towards humans? Colgate in on top says that's super easy to prove true. Yeah, exactly. It's true because of, yeah, it's just pointless because it's always true. Like something that's always true, it's, what's the point then? Hello crows that mimic human speech. Like parrots, right? Parrots mimic human speech as well. Oh, what's that? Polly the parrot? Is that the one that's popular, that they talk and like proper a lot of communication? I like parrots. Like birds in general. Alright. So let's say, I wonder if you can learn to talk to birds is probably yes. I wonder if you can learn to talk with birds is probably no. Well, some birds, like parrots, you can talk with. Specific species that are intelligent enough and... yeah. And I mean, if you get your own bird, like they have in a cage, you could probably like do the Pavlovian thing that when you say something, they react in a certain way. If you say something else, they react in another way. That's talking with a bird, right? Like I can talk with my cat. And there is some understanding there, right? The cat can talk to me and there's some understanding. There's some communication happening, I would assume. Kitrin says, nah, these crows learned how to say hello and other simple phrases. I'm assuming you meant phrases, not faces. Yeah, simple phrases. They're pretty cool unless you're out at dusk and hear 8 of them, those motherfuckers say hello. Oh man, that sounds super cool. That sounds like fun. Scary shit. Amazing. Adventure 95 says it could be communication for other birds, yeah. That's what I thought, yeah. Hell, ravens could try to trick each other with their language to get... wait. Hell, ravens could try to trick each other with their language to get some fun out of it or try to fool them while hiding their food. Oh man, that's cool. Birds are cool. I miss them over the winter. It's such a spring thing. Good thing about spring. Oh man. Oh man, that was contagious. Yawn. Morning, long night? Yep. Remember those big robot things from the food donkey? Mm-hmm. You were scared of those. Cried your little eyes out. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this at all. Mm-hmm. You okay? Yeah, just been doing boring adult stuff. What kind of adult stuff? I'm adult stuff. Just like budget, bills, numbers. A lot of adulthood is number stress. It is, isn't it? Number stress. Time could be considered number stress, right? Couldn't it? And money is number stress. Colgate Genotype says, for example, with the ZFZ axiom, such a statement would be, there is no set whose cardinality, which means how many elements a set has. Alright, so cardinality is how many elements a set has. Cardinality, I'll try to remember that. I won't, but I'll try. I think that's the problem why I have such difficulty with learning math and formalized logic. It's a lot of memorize, it's a lot of grinding. I'm better at learning through just trying to understand stuff. While cardinality is just something you have to remember, maybe. How many elements a set has? So there is no sets whose cardinality is strictly between that of integers and real numbers, aka the continuum hypothesis. There is no set whose cardinality is strictly between that of integers and real numbers. Nope, don't understand it. Continuum hypotheses. What does that mean? Strictly between that of integers and real numbers. Real numbers are divisible, right? Integers are just whole numbers. Continuum hypothesis. Colgate Genotype says, I hope I'm not causing number stress here. No, the number stress is caused all in here. It's all in here, the number stress. And a little bit of number stress is fine, right? A little bit of stress is not too bad. It's good for you, a little bit of stress. A little bit of it. That sounds bad. I'm bad at numbers. Oh, I remember. Oh well, I'm gonna head out. Have a nice day. Gotta talk more to Mom. Numbers, numbers, numbers. And that's it. And we go out the door. And when we go out the door, freaking die tonight. We do save and quit. Because it is lunchtime. And then I'm gonna hang out with the niece today as well. Good times. A little bit, I think. Maybe. No naps for me, that is. Well, it's been fun. I don't know how I felt about the programming bit. There wasn't a lot of discussion during programming, like there wasn't a lot to talk about. So we'll see if we'll doing that some more. That was number stress. No, that was stress. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. I'll sleep on it. Probably not tomorrow, anyway. I'm surprised I'm still playing Deep Rock Galactic. I thought I would be done by now, but I'm not. So tomorrow, It's more Deep Rock Galactic. Roostercock says to Adventure 95. I'm gonna read it anyway, even if it's not directed to me. He says, I recommend watching Drongo's Bird Trick meets... Wait. Drongo Bird Tricks Meerkats on YouTube. I mean, that sounds like a recommendation for everybody. So I'm gonna watch that later on. Let's see, what did we have? Drongo Bird Tricks Meerkats. Alright. That I'm gonna watch. 5.8 million showings. Oof. That I'm gonna look at. Roostercock says it's pretty much what you described, just meerkats instead of other birds. Yeah, sounds fun. There are so many cool things. Like, if you haven't seen, oh man, this is one of the greatest. If you haven't seen it, it just made me think about this thing. What's it called again? The Battle of... Fuck, I don't remember what it's called. Battle of something. Let's just say Crocodile. It's not Crocodile Creek. Battle at Kruger. There we go. Oh man. This one, if you haven't seen this one, Battle at Kruger, you probably have. Everybody has seen this one. That is... If you want to see like an action drama movie or whatever, this is it. In real life. It's so cool. I don't know how. I haven't seen this in years. It just popped up in my head. I think it was these pictures. I'm gonna watch this as well later. Haven't seen it in a long time. Strongly recommend it. Alright, but that is after lunch, after my muesli. Roostercock, I haven't seen it. Will do so during lunch. Nice. Hope I'm not gonna disappoint. I like it. If you like animals, which I assume you do since you like this, watching animals and stuff, then yeah, I would assume that you would like this. Alright, but yeah, thanks for hanging out today, and see you next time. Cheers.